Seth, Dombeck, welcome. Welcome to the afternoon stream on Thursday afternoon. Jason, welcome. Guys, so I got a dilemma here. The dilemma is I feel like I don't have anything to offer in these streams. So I'm more than happy to keep doing them. But at the same time, do you guys want me to do anything, or is how we have been doing them good enough? We're not even good enough, but is this actually good? Let me know that, and we will continue. Hold on one second. I will dance. Or you know what I'll do at some point, as I will do a live stream of one of my classes at some point. But just dancing randomly on this stream, I just feels too weird, man. But welcome, DH Serena, just plain Mark, Mufaletta, and Mr. Greeley. I mean, I could like read news articles or something. Let's go to like New York Times. Let's see what's the top stories on the New York Times. Let me just remove the name and just say U.S. president acknowledges porn actress payoff. Of course he does. Of course. Why did, and on second thought, guys, reading the news was a terrible idea. Welcome, Christopher Williams. Welcome, DJ Genki. Have you heard of the Forest Fin treasure hunt? You guys should do an episode looking for it. Okay, well, if you guys have been enjoying it, I'll just keep doing it, whatever. We'll keep doing these until we find that they're boring. Let's check it out. Forest Fin treasure hunt. I started watching Cobra Kai today. You guys have heard of that. It is but at the same time, I don't know if it's actually good. It's like super cheesy, like just like the same thing that's been done a million times. But I'm so curious where they're gonna go with it, because they have like, what was his name? Johnny, right? Johnny was the blonde kid, and then LaRusso was the karate kid, right? It's like, who is the bad guy and who is the good guy? Like, even looking at the original movie, who's the bad guy, who's the good guy? But in this movie, like now, Johnny's always talking about like strike first and like don't be a pussy and all these things. But I'm not sure where they're gonna go with it, if they're gonna try to make it look like some of what LaRusso says is good, and some of what's his name is good, and play music. That's a good idea, actually. See you later, Warren. What's up, William? Could do music. I was thinking of actually learning a few songs to play music with, because last time we did the music stream, I thought that I'd actually be able to remember some songs and play them on the piano. Turns out I was not able to at all, and I forgot everything I was doing. I could show you guys some sneak peeks of the new episode. See if I can figure out how to do that. Learn some 2 Live Crew songs. Are these streams more lewd than the other ones or something? No. There's very little lewdness going on here. There's very little lewdness going on in any of the videos that I make. Yeah, in fact, let's do that. That'll be fun. I'm going to pull up if I can make this work. Hold on here. Got a lot of room in my room, but still. Okay, here we go. Lewd is like, hold on, let me think of something that a British person might understand. Lascivious. Well, crude, maybe. It's like lascivious and crude combined into one word. I feel like that's a good way to explain it. Okay. So we're working on the episode right now. Let me just see. Okay. You guys should be able to see that. Let me know if it's bad at all. Try to just show you some random clips. Sound. How are we gonna do the sound? Here we go. Hopefully it's just loud enough. Okay, that was a terrible spot to play. For some reason, that beginning plays back really badly. See if I can get some of this to play better. Here we go. That's actually a really good shot, man. It was we specifically went to a place that had lots of snow, and we definitely were not disappointed by where we went. We went to Seneca Creek, which I think was in Monongahela National Forest. And I say I think, I mean I should probably know that, but I did not look for the airsoft video yet. I'm like completely positive that I have it. I just haven't actually dug it out. It's on some hard drive somewhere. Hold on, guys, 1 second. Trying to get the stream chat on my phone so I can actually see what you guys are saying. While, man, the streaming interface is not so great. For YouTube. Okay, well, I'll just have to check it periodically, I guess. Here. So let's see, how many songs do we have? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This whole section here, this oh, that's loud. This whole section here, this is like the whole hot pot section, which I think you guys know by now. I did a hot pot. But these always like, man, they kind of just sit here and tease us for a long time where you're like, oh man, I really don't want to have to go through that. Because this is, how long is this? Sorry, I've got autosave set to 1 minute because Premiere crashes so often. This is 25 minutes of talking right here. So it's not so much that there's 25 minutes of good material in there, but it's like you have to actually go through it and listen to everything to see if it's all good. And 25 minutes is 25 minutes. And it's, man, it takes a good while to get through, especially because so much of it is just going to be stuff that just doesn't matter. You're like, I don't even know what we're talking about. And you can just kind of see like the process of what we do here. This pink layer up here, this is where we add saturation to make the colors pop. We're no experts, but it's like you probably can't even see that on the webcam, but that's what that's there for. And then typical project, you know, it's got music track down here. And then eventually there's going to be 3 more tracks for narration. And then over here, or this is like the main audio track right here. And then usually 2 video tracks because, you know, you have to cut back and forth between stuff. What is this here? I think right here is where a deer slept last night. Okay, yeah. So a deer was sleeping off the trail. We could tell right there. And this was, so at the beginning, we crossed this stream right here. These boots that Brian and Andrew had made it so that we could actually cross the stream. Hold on. I don't feel forced to use the A7S. I only use it. Well, I mean, I mean, I use the GH5 way more, but I don't really feel forced. I get around the crappy elements of it, but it's just annoying. It's still a really great camera. Yeah, the it was really great to get back to. There's probably a much better way for me to do this, but this is the last minute. I didn't think of doing this before, but um, it was great to get back into the snowy area. It's really our goal every year is to have all the different seasons an episode, but we don't always manage to do it. I'm really glad though that we went to a place that was snowing. We were specifically checking the weather to find a place that had lots of snow. Yeah, I guess I can just show you guys some like random things that you might not think of if you weren't editing videos. So like right here, the reason that these audios here are green is because when you have dialogue, you have to do something called compression. We do it in this program over here. It's like if you look at these audio peaks, sometimes like the audio will look like this, right? Somebody will be talking really quietly and somebody will be talking really loudly over here. And what you want to do is make it so that they're the same level and use something called compression, which basically knocks everything down to the same level. And then once you do that, you make everything the full volume. That's not how we do it. Everything I did just now. What you normally do is this. Okay, so yeah, I can just go back. You first do so right here, I think, what did I do it on? Like probably like minus 11, minus 10. See how this peak is really high? This one right here. And so is this one. But you kind of want them to all be even like these ones over here are. So you add a compressor, which will knock down these peaks. And you can see it happen when I click this. See how they change? You do that. And then you amplify everything up to a listenable volume. Okay, yeah. So that was the last one I did. Yeah. So this is what we started with. And obviously, and also it's not loud enough. So there's like way too much space up here. So you add the compressor to make everything you cut all the like those like pops and peaks and stuff doing that. Then you hit amplify and then you bring them up. So that's how you get the dialogue louder. And then obviously if there's music playing in the background, you want to dip the audio a little bit. And you want to do it gradually so that it's not too noticeable. I don't know if you guys can hear this. Let me see if you can. What do you guys think after crossing? That one's actually a little bit too noticeable, but that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. But you want to just at least bring it down so that you can actually hear what people are saying. And then this is another thing. Like right here, you see this. This is the fade. So you're fading the audio from this clip right here to this clip over here. And you just don't want it to sound like really sudden. So here, let me move the mic so you can hear this.
Run that, maybe reconsider. Yeah. Okay. Let's
go. So ideally, you didn't hear anything there, but especially in places where there's like water flowing. Let me check the chat. Yeah. Okay. Congratulations on SAT scores if you guys got those and did a good job. And then condolences if you got them and you didn't do a good job. When I took the SATs, I got a 1400 and I don't know what the scores are now. Like I feel like a 1400 would be like half of the possible points. Because I'm pretty sure they changed the scoring system or however it works. I think I got a really good score on math and then an okay score in English. And then here, you see this like white marker here. You can make markers. So like right here, this is often how Andrew and I will communicate when we're editing. So you just press M, you can make a little marker, and then you can also like extend it so that you can put words in it and also say this area. So like I could make a note for Andrew that says, this clip sucks. Maybe we should change it. And then the red ones are like the ones usually where we're trying to communicate with each other. But white markers in particular, those are for narration. So usually those are just since Andrew does all the writing, those are just like little notes for him. Or like if there's something that I think needs a piece of narration and I want him to say something specifically, I'll put that in there. But this one right here is a little interesting. These clips right here, how they're darker. This is something new that I have thought about looking up before, but I never bothered to. And then I finally was just randomly watching a tutorial and they said how to do it. And I was like, oh, that'd be really useful. This is called disabling. So you can enable it so that you can actually hear. So you can so instead of actually deleting it so that you'd have to go find it again, like you could, these are audio right here, these darkened clips. I don't want the audio in here, but I wasn't sure if that's actually what we should do. So I just disabled them in case we decide that we actually do want the audio here. And we can always easily put it back by just hitting enable right there. So that's one of those things that you can, use editing to help with. Okay, so this is pretty interesting too. So right here, this shot looks pretty good. When I first put it in, it looked a little bit dark. So you can go to this tab right here and you can change all the colors. This is where you can get like really in depth. And a lot of people really like to get in depth with that type of stuff. I just for a full hour episode, I feel like it takes a little bit too much time to really get too in depth with that. So we try to just make it look as good as we can with the time we have. But right there, I just brightened it up so you can see the difference there. Hopefully you can see the difference on the webcam. I'm not sure if it automatically adjusted, but anyways, you can change all sorts of stuff. Like this one, yeah, you can see I just brightened it up a little bit and also changed the color a little bit because it didn't match the previous shot as well. And ideally, you want all of those things to just be right out of the camera. You want to make sure that you film it right. And if you can film it right, then you're good and you don't have to do anything. But also, like when you're filming, this is just a random tip, but always go too dark. Don't, if you're going to go one way or the other and you can't tell if it's supposed to be, you can't tell if you have it exposed right or not, just go a little bit too dark because it's easier to brighten up an image than it is to make an image that's too dark or too bright darker because you've already lost all the information. I don't know why I don't know why that's how it works, but that is how it works. This shot is probably too dark, but I think it was getting dark at that point, so I'm going to leave it. Yes. Yeah, it was starting to get dark at that point, so that's why I didn't brighten these up anyway. And there, so we continued on. Oh, here, this is like a good example. Like this is an actual note that I wrote to Andrew. It says, I muted the ambient audio here. If you think it should stay, right click them and click enable. Otherwise, just delete them because I don't think I told Andrew how to do the disabling and enabling of clips. But this scene is really cool. I'll probably save that for the full episode. Yeah, and then we got to the campsite. I'm gonna check chat again. Tried to get my learner's permit today and didn't have my birth certificate with me. I'm sad. Don't feel sad. I didn't get my driver's license until I was 18. So, although depending on where you're at, maybe that's your driving age there. You're like the Bob Ross of editing. I have no idea what you were doing, but it clearly shows in your finished episodes. I got an 1150. Oh, congrats. I have no clue if that's a good or bad score, but we're just going to say it's a good score. Why not? I'm often curious why music is always quite a bit louder than speech on YouTube videos in general. I think audio is just the last thing that you think of when you're making a video. It seems like it's not as important, but I think that oftentimes it's more important than video, which is a weird thing to say because you think they're two cards leaning against each other. I feel like you really need both because you can tell the difference when there's bad audio. Do I have a mechanical keyboard? No, I had one for a while, but it kept not working. So it kept breaking. I got a replacement. That one broke too. And I was like, okay, that's enough. And I just went back to my regular keyboard, which has been rock solid. It's some random one. My friend's brother, it was sitting under his bed for a while. So I took it and he had no idea it was gone. And I've been using it since then. Oh man. Okay. Check on Sweden. Welcome anybody who I haven't welcomed yet, by the way. Mick V75, welcome again. I can attest to the overexposure not being able to be fixed. Screwed up a waterfall with too much exposure and found out after the fact. White mess. If you look at our first episode, the Dolly Sods episode, that whole episode is overexposed. That's the episode where we really found out. In our defense, the camera we were using gives you no indication whether things are overexposed. You have to put hacked firmware on there to actually make it worthwhile. Oh, so the Forest Fin treasure is worth around $2 million and is located somewhere in the Rockies. People have been searching for it for 8 years now. There's a poem which contains clues. Okay, shout out my brother. Oh, shout out my brother Nick Gers. Nick Gers, happy birthday. How old are you? Let's say I'm gonna guess 25 years old. Nick Gers, happy 25th birthday. Okay, let's go back to the editing here. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so there's the gas from the portable stove that we had. This is at the campsite. We do the hot pot. Oh, there's a song now. Andrew must have added that yesterday. I hadn't seen that yet. So I generally try to label the different elements so that they're just at a glance you can tell what everything is. So the blue, the dark blue, that's all music. And then like these orange markers indicate the days. So those are just helpful for when we're adding the little titles and everything. And then that's the end of the first day. Love to open with time lapses and end days with time lapses. That always works really well as a transition. These were some good time lapses. This is also a really wide lens. This is one that we rented for our Panasonic camera. So probably the widest lens we've ever used. It's 14 millimeters, which is, as you can see, and for those of you who don't know, a wide lens just means that you can see a lot more in the frame. But that's how you can get such a cool shot of so much, you know. And so these shots right here, this is with my favorite lens. This is a 55 millimeter, but just gives you that really cinematic look where like those things are out of focus, and then you get the sharp focus over there. Talked about that before, but I still love it. Yeah, that's just me making food for the morning. Then Andrew gets up and he talks about something funny, which you'll have to wait till the full episode to see that. But if you know Andrew, you might be able to guess what he was talking about. Let me start hiking. And I love the contrast of like, so this song right here is kind of like a light piano song, you know, and then we get into a song with a little more energy. Yeah, I'll just let you guys watch some of this one. Because I showed some of this on Facebook, but I cut it right before it got into any good part.
It's much warmer today because of the sun. Just such a welcome change in the weather. And it's almost so warm that I might have to take out this outer layer. Last night we were hiking uphill and I started sweating, and that really chilled me at night. Thankfully I've got some dry clothes, but I think I'm going to try and manage my layers a lot more carefully now that the sun's out.
Equinox yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully the days are getting longer because we got up so late today that we're already running out of sunlight. So hopefully we find that camp soon.
Okay, so yeah, that's just a random hiking scene. Those are actually my favorite to make. I mean, maybe that's no surprise. But hold on one second. Okay, so Scott asks about how we do the cloud stuff. So we actually use Google Drive right here. And as you edit, it'll just sync as you go. And we both use the same file structure. So we both have an editing drive right here. And then it's got the same A letter. So the file directory is exactly the same. So if you open it on a different computer, we just sync them on Google Drive, which the syncing on Google Drive is probably what takes the longest. It's like, how much is there? 300 gigabytes. Like, so that takes like a day or two to get everything synced. But once it's synced, we have project files here. And the reason why it's on project file number 5 is if we do like a big change or we're not sure somebody else is still working on the project or something, we'll just make like another version. So just for whatever reason, we got to version 5, but that's what we're working on right now. And we save all of these and we eventually back them up. But the folders, these two right here are auto-generated by Premiere. It's the auto save and previews and stuff. So those will naturally be there. We always have a music folder, put all the music in there. They always have really weird names when we start out with, sometimes just because we just come up with a name first. But it's better to come up with a descriptive name so you can actually tell what the song is, because like one time I was just putting random words in and then I couldn't remember which song was which. But like this Irish Struggle 2 or Irish Struggle 1, right? I named it that because one of the instruments I used was like the Irish bozoki or something. It's like some type of string instrument. So that's what I named it when the first time I saved it. We usually change names later, but like Hot Pot Ditty is just what we call pretty much every song. It's like, okay, we need like a hiking ditty. We need a talking ditty. And that originated, I'm just like when I think that started with like the very first episode. And when we were writing music, we were just like, okay, we need a ditty. Just like, not like a full song, but like a little ditty. But oftentimes they are full songs. But and then like I just number the songs as the versions change or like something changes in it. So the number 1, this one I knew wasn't going to be final because I was sending it over to Nathan to do drums. So then once he finished, I just renamed this one number 2, and then I made sure that I put in parentheses with drums so I knew what it was. And then usually we'll have already edited. So you can just go in here, and then this is like the music right here, right? Once you've updated the file, you can just replace what you have here with the new file, and it'll save all the cuts and like volume fades and all that stuff. And also, it's so funny because this program looks complicated. I remember the first time I saw Sony Vegas, which is another video editing program, for the first time. I thought it looked so complicated, but then once you know it, it's very simple. So like right here, this window on the right, it's called the source monitor. And this is just how you preview a clip. Okay, so like this is any old clip, whatever. And say you want to put it in the video, you can say, okay, I want it to start here. You set an endpoint, and then you say, let's end it right here. So you put in, or it's technically an out point. In and end sound very similar. So in and out point. So set an in point, out point. And you can just drag this into the timeline and put it wherever you want, or you can hit Control E and it'll insert it. Oops. Oh, wait, what's going on here? The source is, no, I want you to insert it. Okay, well, I have no idea why it's doing that right now. But normally, it would insert that clip right where I asked it to insert it. That's weird. I don't know what's going on. Okay, that's fine, though. And then this window right here is playing the actual, like, timeline that we have here. So this window down here is the timeline. This is the program window, I guess they call it, the source window. And then these are all the clips that we've been using in the episode. That's like, this is basically your project window. So any files that you use for the episode, music, video, audio, they all go in here. When I'm doing the vlog, I actually use this window a lot because I'll drag all the clips in here first, and then I'll drag one at a time to the timeline. But when we do these episodes, it's a little bit different because we're working with so many clips and they have a bunch of different names. So, and Premiere doesn't do a good job of sorting by date. So we use Windows to actually sort it by date so that you can see this is the first clip from the day. This is the last clip from the day. And oh man, the post-hike meal was non-existent on this episode. It's really sad. I'm not sure how we're going to end the episode actually. But yeah, so you let Windows do this sorting and organizing, and then we'll just drag it in one at a time. So like the next clip that I'm working on right now is right after this one. So we can listen to this one real quick though. So right there, obviously, we need a clip to continue on. Hold on, make sure everything's still going good. Chat. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of food in the new episode for sure. And yeah, sorry, Gatsby. YouTube Live butchers the quality. This will just whet the appetite for the actual thing. Yeah, the stream, until I get my other camera back, it's gonna continue to be like this because I'm using my laptop, unfortunately. Why do we write new music for every episode? That's a question I've been asking myself a lot, actually. I don't know, man. It just seems like the right thing to do, but also it is the biggest hurdle in getting these episodes out in a more timely manner. So I don't know. What we've been trying to do and having more or less success with it is writing like one melody for the episode, one or two melodies, and just repeat them throughout the episode. But I haven't done a very good job of doing that. But whatever. Okay. Anyways, so just continuing along, we had that last clip. So now, where was I? C0119. So this was the last clip we used. Let's make these a little bigger. And if we did a good job filming and we made sure that the cameras were in sync with the time, actually getting the organization is so key to having a good edit, and to also don't overshoot, man. If you shoot too much video, yes, you do have more to work with, but man, sometimes you don't want more to work with. You kind of have to you have to edit in real time as well. So like as you're filming, that should be part of the editing process. Like, do we really need this? Is this the best shot we can get? And to not film the same thing. Like if you want a shot, get it right on the first time, because then you might have like these 3 shots here. I'm looking at these now. During the editing process, it makes it so much more difficult because you have to look through all 3 of these clips and you're like, why do these look almost exactly the same? Like, what were we doing? In fact, let's investigate that, because I don't know. I just edited these, but I don't remember specifically. My guess is that the first one is actually a different shot, and then the 2 after that, the first one was a failed attempt, and then the third one was the correct attempt. So this is, let's mute that actually. This is a shot. Okay, so that one's good. It's kind of weird though that we did this shot and then followed it up. Oh, I guess that makes sense. So it's like a punch in basically. And then we punched in like this. So this shot though, oh, okay, so that's what happened. This was a still shot where it was just like, okay, we want it to be still. And then this one was like, oh, what happens if we pan? Or tilt, I suppose, is the correct term if you're going up and down. But that's just like kind of the editing process, right? Like you want to know which one. I personally like this shot way better than the still shot. So the still shot looks kind of boring. It's cool. And actually these are all supposed to be slow motion. So change the speed real quick. I mean, that looks pretty cool. And you get a nice taste of the water, but this one's probably a little bit more dynamic. You get some movement and you get the parallax with the branches and everything. So I'm not sure what I used. Let's go take a look and see what I actually used in the edit. So this whole scene here, where are we? Oh, okay, that's where I use it. All right. So we walked over to this little area next to our campsite. This was the last day we're hiking out or packing up our stuff. But before we hiked out, we walked out. Oh, look at the gimbal, man. So this is the gimbal that we just bought that has a motor in it to keep the camera steady. But this is also combined with Warp Stabilizer, which is a stabilizer in Premiere. But look at how smooth that is. That just turned out really well, man. And then that's also a gimbal shot, obviously. But so here we're walking over. Oh, let me show you the thought process behind some of this stuff too. Okay, so this is like a kind of like a transitional shot. Just there will be some narration over this for sure. Slow motion with the sound effects, that's classic Adventure Archives now. And then I'm sure the narration will read something like, now it was time to pack up and head out. And we'll probably trim it down a little bit. But these two shots, like this is something that's fun to do and makes it interesting to watch is you get a close-up shot and then you just pull out a little bit, get another dynamic shot, show the process continuing, but you don't need to show that much. It's just like flavor, right? You're like, okay, yeah, doing this. Oh, yeah, they're still doing it. And yeah, it's got a different angle. That's interesting. Okay, and then you can cut over and you can use the narration to transition into what we're doing. Like, okay, well, why are they walking? Use narration to explain that. Cut into another shot, show the subject we're about to be talking about. Boom, there's the subject. And the subject is basically just that there was this really cool like area over here. And got all these shots. So this is obviously going to be edited down depending on the amount of narration. But just this took a little bit because I had to go through all the different clips that we had of this because we just took a bunch of B-roll of it. We were like, okay, let's just get a bunch of B-roll and decide after the fact what we do with it. And so I think, yeah, the only clip I ended up using of those three that we showed earlier was this one. And then this is where we transition. Oh, we missed the music. I guess you guys can't even hear this, can you? Facebook says we owe Chiwe's. Oh, yeah. Our cousin bought us some Facebook ads one time, but hold on one second. Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, our cousin bought us some Facebook ads one time and blah, blah, blah. Okay, sorry. Anyways, so apparently we owe Facebook $50 for ad money. We haven't done those in a long time. Maybe we should do those again. But transition over here. Oh, you can't hear the music, can you? Oh, I didn't unmute it. Okay. And you guys can't even hear it. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, but then so we transition over here. This is the classic one. I've talked about this before. It's called the J cut. You put in the audio right here. In fact, I'll use my finger just so you guys can see that. Can you see that? This is not lined up at all. In fact, let me check the chat. I haven't checked the chat. Justin, I'm glad I could be of help. What would Robby do? No, don't do what I would do. Don't do what Donnie don't does. You know, I would love to make a 2-hour episode. It's just, it's like, I'm kind of I don't think I'll ever be able to sacrifice watchability for runtime. So like, it's always going to be shorter and more succinct than long-winded. But anyways, this is J Cut. You bring in the audio of whoever's talking before you actually see them talking.
Because nature just makes stuff like this completely on its own.
Blah 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 blah. Okay, and then he's talking. Then eventually you actually show him. There you go. Actually, this is like a super J Cut because he starts talking like right here, but you don't actually see him talking until over here. And then we actually cut away from him again right there to show what he's talking about. That's like the classic video thing, right? Show what you're talking about. That is the cardinal rule. If like when people do like video game reviews and then they talk about something they did or didn't like about the game and they don't show that, I'm like, man, guys, you have got to show what you're talking about. Oh, that's another great example of the gimbal. This is the gimbal combined with a stabilizer in Premiere, but look at that, dude. That is just incredible. We haven't had a chance to use it nearly as much as we've wanted to, though, because it keeps raining. It makes it really difficult to use the gimbal if it's raining because we don't want to break it. So sick of breaking all of our equipment or our equipment breaking. So actually, this song right here is the same melody that I used earlier that you guys were listening to. Oh, I'm actually like, this is kind of cool how this edit came out. I'll just tell you the thought process behind it. So we're walking. I imagine some really good narration is going to be placed here. Then it shows like from our viewpoint what we were seeing. You can actually see the waterfall right there. And then it cuts to the waterfall, but it's like a walking gimbal shot. So it's pretty dynamic. Man, I'm just like so impressed with how smooth the gimbal can be with the stabilizer added in Premiere. It just looks. Oh man, I gotta watch it again. And then so my thought process was we had all this footage. Like this wasn't thought out so much at the time, but after the fact, you get us walking from our viewpoint. Then you cut out to show the context of where we're walking and everything. Then it shows us continuing along, same waterfall. And then us continuing on. I don't know. It just looked really cool. It seemed to flow really well. Oh, that was the stabilizer being weird. Oh, it didn't look that bad, but. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, no, I think that was a pretty good look at what we do as far as editing. And yeah, okay, so Godspeed, little doodle. Good old Seth Dombeck. He actually knows our Simpsons quotes. Okay. Anyway, let's continue on. Robby got a question for you. How do you expect me to get any work done when you're always streaming? My apologies. I won't be streaming tomorrow afternoon, but I watched one guy walking through the woods and he was talking about what was in front of him with the camera on him. Look at this flower. Okay, well, that's a little bit different. Like, if you don't have anything to say about what you're showing, then obviously you don't need to show it or say it, really. You can pick one or the other. Oh, yo, Robby, just sold my A7S II and got the A7 III. It totally fixes all of my problems with the A7S II, except the flip out screen. Man, I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted. So for those of you who don't know, let me get the camera real quick. I think it's in the kitchen. It'll take too long to get it. For those who don't know, the A7 III is a cheaper but much better version in almost every way than the current camera that I have. And the reason I haven't bought it yet, actually, is it bought or bought? I've asked this before. The reason I haven't bought it, bought can't be a word, right? The reason I haven't bought it yet is because I'm still waiting to see what they do with the A7S III. But I'm kind of like hard pressed to imagine them doing anything besides increasing the low light sensitivity. A7 III looks like perfect, and it's $1,000 less than the A7S II. Come on, son. How good is Premiere at eliminating bobbing in the motion? It's working fantastically. Like, it's eliminating the bobble or the bobble. Bobble? Is that the word? Wobble. Bobble could be bad wobble shortened. Anyways, it's doing a fantastic job according to what I've gotten so far. Anyways, what can fans do to get Brian to do more screen/voice time? We know Brian the least. I don't know. If you figure out how to do that, please let me know. Brian's just like kind of got a quieter personality, so it's not his thing to not necessarily ham it up, but just to be more vocal. So he does Patreon streams though. Like, he did a Patreon stream by himself. So if you are on Patreon, you can watch those. And the next one he'll be doing, I'm doing the next one on Monday. Then the week after that is Andrew, and the week after that is Brian. So in 2 weeks, you can watch him do it. Yes, US streams will be on Tuesdays from now, and European ones on Thursday, so I don't have to stream like 4 hours in one day. Can you guys hear that? It sounds like a warning alarm or something. I don't know where it's coming from now. Okay. Power Director's wobble would make it look like you were on drugs. Poke Brian with a stick like an untamed tiger. I don't know how it works. I was just like, I need these new features on the A7 III for video work, and I think the resale value of the A7S II will be really bad close to the A7S III launch. Oh, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Yo, man. God, I want to get the A7 III so badly, though. That battery life and the autofocus. Although, if I get one, I might still get the A7R III. Like, if they, depending on what they do with the A7S III, because the one problem I found with the A7 III is that they have not changed the screen at all from the A7R2. And the A7R2 is, from as far as I know, has the same screen as the A7S II, which is not bright enough outside. But the A7R3 apparently has like a really bright screen, so you can actually see it outside. But we'll see. Oh, botan is a word technically according to Merriam-Webster, but it's part of a dialect. Bot is generally accepted. Okay, botan. It must be a, I don't know, Midwest thing or something, because I've said botan like many a time, but sorry. I really got to put my phone upside down when I do stuff, because when a notification goes off, it's very hard not to pay attention to it. And I hate that phones are so powerful in that manner. I think the A7 III, as far as I know, is better for video in full frame because it downsamples 6K to 4K. The A7R3 is apparently better in Super 35. I have heard that as well. And the A7 III, I think, still lets you shoot 4K in Super 35. So the A7 III is probably just better all around. Man, I just like, there's a list of features that are not hard. Like, all the cameras together, if you put them all together, they would have all the features that I want, but no single camera does all the different things that I want. And I feel like so many of them, they don't, like, they're not hard features to fill. Like, the flip screen is like the easiest one to fill. I don't understand it. Okay, but what was I talking about? Was I just answering questions? I didn't have like a specific theme, right? Just now. No, probably not. Okay, but anyways, so this episode that we're working on right now it'll definitely be out for early release by May 14th, with the possibility that it will be out earlier than that. But we're shooting for the 14th, and I don't see that being any problem. In fact, today I should be able to get close. Me and Andrew combined should be able to get to close to the end of the episode as far as just getting all the clips in. But that hot pot scene, man, still got to do that. Cell phones destroying attention spans all over the world. So, the thing is like cell phones when you're by yourself and you don't have anything else to do and you're using it. And in fact, that goes just for everything. Using something intentionally is kind of where I want to go with everything. I don't mind, I don't think anything's like really inherently bad. Like all these new technologies, I don't think they're inherently bad. It's just that they play to like these basic like desires, like our attention spans and like just bright colors and all this stuff, that it takes our intentionality out of it. So we're not using them intentionally. Like just now when I was checking these notifications, it's not like I plan to say, okay, I'm going to do this stream, and then if any notifications come up, I'm going to respond to them as if it's such an important notification I can't look at it later, or like when you're watching a YouTube video. There's no problem with wasting all your time watching YouTube videos as long as you set out to do that. It's before you know it. Like what happens to me all the time is I will be editing something, like say I add a stabilizer in Premiere, and then I click analyze and I'm waiting for it to finish analyzing. I'll hop over to the internet and it's only like a 1 minute wait, right? 60 seconds. 60-second wait. And I'm like, okay, well, let me just hop over to the internet and I'll play on the internet until that's done. Next thing I know, it's 5 or 10 minutes later. The stabilizer finished like 5 minutes ago, and I'm still on the internet, just mindlessly clicking through things. And there was no purposefulness about that. It wasn't like I intended to be on the internet for 5 or 10 minutes. That's the dark side of technology, is how it just like takes over. Anyways, first episode of the road trip is for June. Yes, most likely. We've got a ton of side videos, though, in the works, so those will be going out periodically. Okay, in your opinion, what niche is left open with backpacking YouTubers? What do you wish they would cover more / stop covering so much? Well, it's hard for me to say because I don't watch that many outdoor YouTube channels. I would, I don't have too much of an opinion on it, but a niche that hasn't been covered yet. Because I mean, survival, that's been covered, right? Gear reviews, that's been completely covered. I don't know. I mean, I think if I had the answer to that, then, well, no, would I? Yeah. I guess if I had the answer to that, we might also be making those videos too. But I think that's why we started making the videos that we made, is because this is the type of video we want to watch, and we saw that nobody was really making that type. So I don't know. Though, what are your ideas? Are you asking for ideas? Because I'm not sure. I've turned off all non-person generated notifications. Basically, I don't want to check notifications for anything that isn't sent directly by someone I know. I think that's how my phone has been for a long time. Let me see. Let me look through my notifications. Yeah, Facebook Messenger, text message, Line. Yeah, pretty much only messaging programs are on here. But it's still like, oh man, yeah. That messaging is a whole different thing. I talked about this the other day, but damn it. So Alex Tessman will know what I'm talking about, but I'm constantly prefacing everything that I say by saying, I think I said this before. I was talking about this the other day. From now on, I said this morning. I just got to get into the habit of it. I'm just going to repeat myself. If I repeat myself, I apologize. Feel free to call me out on it. But I'm going to repeat my stories without prefacing them. Okay. Now, what was I saying? What was I saying? Oh, yeah. I just hate how cell phones make us lose each other in real life. Like when I'm with other people and we lose each other, we lose someone to a cell phone. Oh, it's the worst feeling. I hate it so much, man. That sounded a little harsh. My bad. I assume you're talking about if you're on the right path, a cell phone will not do much. Well, elaborate what you're talking about because it didn't sound harsh, and I'm not sure what you meant exactly. Android phone or iPhone? I go with iPhone, and there's many reasons for it, but I don't want to start a culture war or whatever you would call it, which is hilarious to me that people still argue about that type of thing. I mean, I get it. Like no, I don't get it. I get it if you're a kid, because when I was a kid, Nintendo versus Sony was the most entertaining thing in the world. And that's what we talked about on the bus rides from start to finish. We just argue about video games, Nintendo and Sony, or Nintendo and Sony was later. And I remember that kid, James Brown, not the James Brown, the singer, but there's another kid named James Brown, insisted that Killer Instinct Gold was coming to the PlayStation. I was like, dude, Killer Instinct Gold is not coming to the PlayStation. It's a Nintendo second party game. It will be a cold day in hell before Killer Instinct Gold comes to the PlayStation, but he just wouldn't listen. Oh man. Anyway, but oh yeah, actually, I will give you my reasons. The reasons why I use iPhone is because of the smoothness of. And granted, I haven't used a really nice Android phone, but look, it's just like everything's so responsive and fast. And well, I guess if you have the latest phone, if you have like an old phone, it starts to get bad. But and plus, it integrates with my computer. It's all around good. I like it. But I'd be perfectly willing to use an Android phone too if that's all I had. It's just my preference. I would like to see AA stay overnight in a bothy. I don't even know what a bothy is. Ooh. Basic shelter, usually left unlocked and available for anyone to use free of charge. Well, guess who else would like to see AA stay in a bothy? Me. Awesome, dude. Yeah, the only time we stayed in a shelter was the Smokies. It was super, super fun. Do you consider your videos to be advertisements for places you go? Otherwise, the niche you fill is high quality nature videos. You guys do sound/picture and post production better than anyone else. Do I consider videos to be advertisements? I get yes, but not intentionally. It's like not like we ever go to a place to advertise how great it is, but I feel like they basically are. I mean, I'm sure lots of people have gone to the different places we've gone because of the videos we made. I feel like Dolly Sods has to be one of those, right? And how did we find out? I feel like we found out about Dolly Sods from other YouTube videos. So Dolly Sods is just like the YouTube thing. About cell phones, I just mean in general losing touch of reality. Yeah, I see. Well, I always try to like couch everything I say about cell phones and not couch. What's the word? I don't know what the sentence I'm looking for is, but basically, I think cell phones are fine if you use them for what they're good at and you don't it's just all about intentionality, right? So like if I'm sitting on the toilet and I'm messaging other people, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if I'm sitting in the presence of other human beings and I'm messaging other people, I feel like that's pathological. And I feel like and it's not even so much as pathological. People can do it if they want to. I'm not going to I am going to. I'm going to try not to tell people what to do. But I just hate that feeling of when other people are using phones when I'm around and like we're supposed to be like interacting and other people are using phones. It's just like the worst feeling. A Waterman's Woods. Welcome. What niche in videos? More poetry. I was gonna do that. Yeah. If I were to camp/hike in an area and I knew AA had been to a park in the area, I would give preference to that park. Yeah, I could totally see that too. Plus, you could like get a sense of what the park was, and then it'd be really cool if it was an episode that you've seen and you're like familiar with. Then you can be like, oh man, yeah, they were here, and then I saw this one, and you could like every time you watch the video after that, It's kind of like you're reliving your own trip through the video. Social etiquette says it is rude. Who wrote the Western theme to Thomas's latest video? Was there a Western theme in that? Yeah, but it's like social etiquette is changing, right? Because the younger kids these days, they sounds like such an old man, dude. Younger kids, like but I feel like it'll swing back and forth. Because I feel like even kids nowadays, they have a sense of like technologies, the pull of technology is really powerful. So I don't know. I feel like it'll swing back and forth. Hold on, let me listen to this. The Western theme. If you're talking about the opening theme, that's Andrew wrote that for the Yellowstone episode. Yeah, that I can't remember what that one's called. This is the last Thomas California video. I mean, there might be more, but as far as him living in California and everything, this is the last one. The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace. Satan's Den. Yeah, if you're talking about the opening song from that video, Andrew wrote that. It was called, what was it called, man? I want to say Journey into the Unknown, but that's the song Brian wrote for the end of Red River Gorge. I don't remember. Sorry, guys. But it's somewhere in the Yellowstone episode. You can find it there. You're also selling a feeling and a story. Hyuga. Companionship with your friends and with nature. Enjoying the outdoors regardless of the weather. Yeah, that's something, that particular aspect of it. It's kind of weird because in retrospect, that's like completely obvious that that's one of the appeals of the videos. But when we started making them, that never really occurred to us that that would be one of the appeals. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Just like when we started, it's just like the first episode's a very good indication of what we thought it should be, because it's still a very similar format to what we do now. But I don't think we ever really thought that much about what parts would be good and what parts would not be good. And it just kind of happened naturally. But yeah, Jason, exactly what you said. In regards to technology and etiquette, is just about finding a balance, much like life. Isn't that annoying, man? Like, I find that really annoying that everything's about balance. I want to just like, only a Sith deals in absolutes, and I want to be a Sith, man. I want to just be like, okay, let's eat pizza and let's have 2 pizzas every night and eat so much that we nearly kill ourselves, and let's just go to the extremes constantly. But it's always, man, you just gotta find like a middle. You don't want to eat no junk food, but you can't eat too much junk food. You go right in the middle. Anyways, would you do okay? We got in the chat in the next 5 minutes, so get in your final questions. If you guys want, join on Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/nostalgicgamer. We are going to be doing a pizza party on Twitch. I know that's breakfast time for us on the Eastern time zone, but we're doing it regardless. Okay, would you do an AA video for a good cause for charity? Absolutely. Somebody asked us to do that for sure. I don't think we would go out of our way to find to do that, but because we don't have time to do the videos as they are, or don't have enough time. We have time, but there's never enough time. So somebody would have to ask us, and it'd have to be for a good cause. And it would also have to be worth everybody's while. Like if it was a big charity and we could do like some real good, I'd be down for doing that. If you could have a superpower, what would it be? Dragon Ball style flight. I've thought about this before. It doesn't have to be anything special, just Dragon Ball style flight where I can go in the air and just hover and stand there. Go super speed and go all over the place. That would be really great. Has anyone even offered to pay you to film their own, or ever offered to pay you to film their own hike? No. My brother has said that I should go on all vacations with him and film his trips, but I haven't done that. You currently or could fill YouTube outdoors. Yeah, just as far as like our YouTube videos, like I'm really happy with what we're doing now. I think if we ever get to the point where I get tired of what we're doing, then we'll start looking for new niches to fill. But man, I just like really enjoy making them, filming them, releasing them, watching them, just all the different aspects. Jorgen says, "Yo, dude," and then puts a colon. I assume he's waiting for me to catch up to the chat. Anybody else? Final questions? Please get them in, and I will answer them. And we'll end the Thursday afternoon Europe time zone live stream of the week. And we'll be back next week at 2 p.m. again, maybe 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. I don't know. I forgot to exercise before lunch today. So right after this is over, I'm going to go exercise. Are the Twitch streams archived? They are indeed. I don't think they last forever because Twitch doesn't make them last forever, but I've been backing them up to a separate YouTube channel that I haven't made public yet, but it's Nostalgic Gamer, and then I'll eventually put those out there. Or maybe I won't. I don't know. Just at least so I have them. How tall are you? 6 foot even or 183 centimeters since we're doing the Europe time zone live stream. No further questions. For those who don't know, Alex Tesman has a very, very good sense of humor. Like in the written word, that's not very easy to make funny, like, you know, do funny stuff, say funny stuff, but he does a really good job at that. That's a 6 a.m. pizza party for me, but I'm down. Well, we'll see you at 6 a.m. on Saturday, and we'll be having that pizza. I got to buy my pizza tomorrow night. Oh, man. I'm still trying to decide. I'm getting the pepperoni. Okay, I'm getting the pepperoni. See, the problem is that the Kroger I go to, they only usually have the sausage and pepperoni, but I don't want the sausage. I just want the pepperoni. But I think there's another Kroger on the north side of town that has the pepperoni pizzas. I'm laughing because the internet is the weirdest place and the weirdest concept that I'm talking to you guys. I'm in this room by myself, man. The windows are open. But nobody's outside right now, so nobody can hear me. And I'm just talking into the ether, and 29 people right now are watching, responding to me talking into the ether. But I'm talking about which Kroger I'm going to go to buy my frozen pizza and why I want pepperoni and not pepperoni and sausage. It's just, man. Okay. Okay. Twitch stream should be archived 30 days, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but I have streams from the end of February when I first started streaming that are still in my archive for some reason. Maybe it's only for me. Maybe you guys can't see those, but I can see them. I don't know. Anyways, I'll back them all up at some point. They'll be on something. Fat Madamus R. Pizza is the most party of all foods. That is true. Crazy person talking to himself. Indeed. See you Saturday. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for joining today on this lovely Thursday afternoon, May 3rd. Hey, tomorrow is the Star Wars Day, May 4th, right? I don't know if they're going to be doing anything for that. I don't know why they didn't release Solo on May 4th. Wouldn't that have made more sense? Maybe the weekend they picked is like the holiday weekend, Memorial Day. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's going to do it, guys. This episode that we talked about today will be out on the 14th at the latest for Patreon people, and then it'll be the end of the month for everybody else. They'll watch it on YouTube. I'm gonna go exercise. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Tessa, Luke, Fat Madamus, Alex, Jorgen, everybody. 1980 Amazonia, Zonia. Have a good one. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the vlog tomorrow. All right. See you guys.